9 months ago, I started the craziest side quest of my life, restoring this abandoned castle built by my father. I had almost no money, no construction experience, and one goal: to turn it into a place that can generate enough income to save itself before it goes up for auction. Because if I fail, I could lose my family's castle forever. That's why, in the last episodes, we transformed this room from this condition into this. But there was still one problem. The arched windows looked beautiful, but the arches around them were completely unfinished. And I did not want to destroy the floor we already worked so hard on. That's why I covered everything with plastic film and called Alexei to make the window reveal. He started by cleaning the arch. Then he grabbed the corner beads and began installing them along the inside curve. And honestly, it is crazy to think that last season, this room did not even have proper windows. There were only horrible wooden frames covered with plastic film. But thanks to Logi24.lv, this room now has beautiful triple glazed arched windows. The corner beads were installed. That's why Alexei mixed the plaster and started shaping the reveals. Slowly, the arches finally started looking finished, and after some time I was really happy with the result. But then we noticed another problem. The window still had no proper steps. That's why Alexei installed a wooden beam, mixed concrete, and poured it to create the window step. But even after that, the corner beads were still visible. So I had to fill the first arch again, then the second one. But the filler did not go on perfectly. That's why my brother and I took the sanding machine and started smoothing everything down. Our dust was everywhere, so we cleaned it all and then painted the arches again with my signature Koftel lime wash paint. And if you are interested in becoming our distributor, go to the link in my profile and fill out the form. Finally, the arches were ready. But when I removed the plastic film, I was shocked. The floor was completely dirty again. That's why we vacuumed the whole room. But some filler was still stuck to the floor, so I had to scrub it off with a sponge piece by piece. The room was getting cleaner, but something was still missing: the final touch, tall, elegant baseboards. That's why we went to the construction store, and somehow we got lucky. We found exactly the baseboards we needed. We also bought a shelf and a few more essentials to finish the bathroom, and all of this cost us $468. When we came back to the castle, I immediately started cutting and gluing the baseboards around the room, but cutting everything by hand took forever. And honestly, if a tool company helped us with proper tools, it would speed up this restoration so much. But after several hours, the baseboards were finally installed, and the room instantly started looking more complete. But because the floors were uneven, and because I made a few mistakes while cutting, the joints were not perfect. That's why I went over all the seams with white caulk. And finally, the room was almost ready, but it still had no furniture. That's why my brother and I started assembling the antique beds we bought for only $400 in the last episode. First, we assembled one bed, then the second one. Then we installed the slats, put the mattresses on top, and suddenly, this empty room started feeling like a real bedroom. We were completely exhausted, but honestly, we were proud, because step by step, this abandoned castle is turning into a place people will actually be able to stay in. What happens in the next episode will surprise you even more.